Week in review, Monday, March 10th, 2025. We're heading into the third week of the Open this week. Today closes out 25.2, today at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the chatter amongst 25.2 having been leaked or people knowing what that workout was really loud. The chatter leading into 25.3 is also, there's a lot of people behind the scenes in some of the camps, some of the athletes, etc., some of the people who cover the sport talking about knowing what 25.3 is. In all these cases, I'm really surprised nobody has put the workout out there yet. 25.2 was interesting because it was probably in line with a lot of my other clues in terms of how easy it was to guess, and combine that with the fact that I also had made a statement on a affiliate call a few weeks before that the repeat was going to be something within the 20s. And then as obvious again as the clue was, it was really easy to figure out that one, as it is easy to figure out some of the other ones based off the clues. 25.3, people saying they have it, people saying it leaked, but yet nobody's put it out there. I've seen the variant that people are sending around. I've seen the version that people are putting out there. I'm not going to confirm nor deny if that is the workout. I will say this, the workout as it stands, that was created several months ago, and this will tie into one of the comments I'm going to cover in a minute too, is the same and it's not going to change. So if you guys have the workout and it is the workout, and when we announce it on Thursday night, you know what it is, you can all say you were right. If you have the workout and we announce it on Thursday night and it's not the workout, you can all say you were wrong. But regardless, at this point, this close to the announcement, nothing's going to change with the workout. So that's all I have on the leak. Talked a little bit about last week's hint, how it all tied everything together. Last week I went to Arizona for the announcement. I went a couple days earlier and spent some time with Greg and Sevan. That was really fun. Hung out with Greg at his house and just caught up with him. I haven't seen him in a few months. And then next morning I had breakfast with him prior to going out to the venue. Before going to the venue, I went and stopped at Langdon Tactical. Ernest and Amy Langdon, they sell aftermarket components for Benelli shotguns and for Beretta firearms. Friends, CrossFitters. Well, Amy's a longtime CrossFitter. Ernest, kind of not really, but he respects CrossFit and has supported Amy in her journey throughout the years. After that, went to the venue, went through some rehearsals, talked about what we were going to do. And then on Thursday, we had the show, and it was a great vibe, and really appreciate the affiliate who hosted us and everything they did. And at 9 a.m., actually earlier, at 8:30 when we showed up, they already had people in the parking lot having a tailgate party with alcohol and everything. And so the show wasn't until, I think, 1. And all up until that point, they had more and more people showing up and had this huge tailgating party to celebrate the Open announcement. And then about 45 minutes before the announcement, actually an hour before the announcement, we let everyone in. They came in. And then about 30 minutes before the show, we brought everyone out onto the floor and hosted these little echo bike challenges. Set up 2 echo bikes. They put a foam roller in the middle. And for 30 seconds, you went as hard as you could. And wherever the foam roller ended up, that was who won the challenge. And people loved that. So that was a lot of fun. And then from there, we just kept everyone on the floor, as you saw if you watched the announcement for the Open announcement. And we announced the Open announcement. Really enjoyed that announcement, and the energy in that affiliate was incredibly powerful. Those people were really excited, and definitely top 2 or 3 Open announcements in terms of energy and in terms of just enthusiasm that I've ever seen. And then the workout went down, and Sydney did great, and Emily did great. Prior to going out on the floor with everyone, I was back there with them, and Sydney actually, I was kind of rehearsing the 2 lines I had. And I took my hat off, decided I wasn't going to wear my hat, and realized I should probably put something in my hair. So I asked Sydney if she had any, I asked them both if they had any hair product. And Sydney was clutch. She had some pomade that she loaned me. So thank you, Sydney, for the hair product prior to going out on the floor. But it was cool catching up with them and then watching them throw down. Sydney improved her time by over a minute. So that was also awesome. I did 2 attempts at 25.2. The first one was Friday, so I flew back from that event Thursday night, and then Friday morning I did an attempt, and I think in that attempt I got 2 or 3 muscle ups, and everything just was not good. I broke up the set of pull-ups the first set of pull-ups 3 times. I broke up the first set of thrusters 3 times. The second set of pull-ups, and even the double unders I broke up. The second set of pull-ups I broke up a lot. And the second set of thrusters, that's what the workout really came down. I'm not strong. And the 115 thrusters at those reps really put a hurting on me. So I broke those up into sets of 3s and 4s, and I think even had a set of 2. Anyway, that was on Friday. I knew I'd come back and do it. I rested until Monday, and then this morning I tackled it again and went in with a little more of a plan. Did the first set of pull-ups, just did them unbroken this time. Second set of our first set of thrusters did in 2 sets, and then the set of chest to bar pull-ups, I did those in sets of 6, and then I did the set of thrusters on the 115 also in sets of 6. So I was happy about that. But on the last set of 6, I just had a mental breakdown or something. I did 5, and then the 6 I put it down, and then had to take a little break and do the 7th rep or the 6th rep. So then I actually had 3 minutes this time to work on muscle ups. Jumped on, whereas last time I had less than 2. Jumped up on the bar and knocked out a set of 2. I strung 2 together and realized that was probably a bad idea. So then from that point, I just did a few singles, and I ended up finishing with a total of 7 reps. So 7 bar muscle ups. Happy with that. After this attempt, I do feel like I could have done better. I should have gone harder on my first attempt, so I could have put a little more into this one, but still happy. Good 7 bar muscle ups. Good for where I'm at with my fitness. I feel like I'm coming back, but I'm still not there. All right, let's jump into comments. At Next Door Athlete, hey Dave, I know you are more into shooting, but I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on good hunting bows. I'm a big fan of Hoyt. They've always taken care of me. Evan from Hoyt, he's an avid CrossFitter, and so I like those guys. I like their product, so I'd recommend Hoyt. And you're correct. I don't know much about bow hunting. I stick to the shooting stuff, but I do enjoy it. At JL Craigle, love the show and love the workout so far. I'm hoping that 25.3 does not include wall walks simply because they are no longer new, are not really a great test to separate the very elite. Further, there is a bias to the very thin athlete given that the line is so close to the wall. Handstand push-ups, on the other hand, are not size bias, and those who can't do them can do the scaled workout. I wish there was a return to RX being RX and scaled being for everyone else. A lot to unpack there. Love the show and love the workouts. Thank you. Hoping that 25 does not include wall walks. I think we agreed to disagree on their inclusion in any of the stages. So last year we didn't have them at all. This year it's still unknown if there will be wall walks. And why I say we didn't have them at all. I think I might have talked about this last week, but I'll repeat it. Thematically, sometimes there's things we do and movements we do and don't do that change year over year. Last year was a year where there's no wall walks in our competition series. I think they're not, okay, simply because they are no longer new and are not really a great test to separate the very elite. That's the other thing is, like, not everything always has to be new. I think it's easy to get caught up into always, and you see this at the games often, or in programming events like the games, always trying to have a wow factor or a new thing. Those don't necessarily, there doesn't always necessarily need to be new things, and especially multiple new things. So the fact that the wall walk isn't new isn't a reason not to include it. I think the wall walks are a pretty good movement to have to add to a collection of movements that you can possibly have in something like the Open. And like it or not, the wall walk actually is pretty a lot of people can do them. There's people who can do wall walks better than they can do handstand push-ups. So I don't understand what you mean. I wish there was a return to RX being RX and scaled being for everyone else. I think RX is RX and scaled is for everyone else. But if you want, add a comment into this week with what you're really trying, what I'm not understanding that you're saying there, and I'll talk about it next week. At Corey Dunn 7745, do you program main site and cap around the open so that all the workouts flow together nicely? Yes, they take into consideration the open workouts with their programming for this period. At Jodo 2516, hi Dave, our island is part of the Dutch Kingdom. However, this year it's not listed correctly on the leaderboard. We have reached out to HQ to fix it with no luck. Can you help us? The island of Wrkout. Yes, I will look into that for you. At 870 meg, repeat of 25.2, that's original, need to be replaced. So the whole intent or the whole reason behind a repeat and the actual essence of a repeat is that it's not original. And so repeat of 25.2, that's original. We are going to have repeats, and they are not going to be original things because they existed previously. So, and repeats and redoing CrossFit workouts is a core piece of our methodology and what CrossFit is about. I contend and I think that people don't repeat workouts enough in their daily training or weekly training or monthly training in their training cycles. I don't think affiliates do, a majority of affiliates don't do repeats enough. I don't think a majority of the community does repeats enough. On that note, actually recently with the main site, I've tasked the team to have more repeats. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a benchmark, but it could just be something you've done within the last month or two, a named benchmark. So you need to retest things that you've done actually to see that your nutrition, your programming, your effort, everything is working and that there is not any gaps. So the repeat of 25.2, that's original. It wasn't meant to be original. It's a repeat. At Will_no_rep_you. Hi, Dave. I know you've made the Open matter more this year. Have you considered giving the winner of the Open an automatic spot to the games? I assume this would make it really matter to the elite athletes. So I've been looking at the leaderboard. It seems to really matter to a number of these elite athletes. There are a lot of really good elite athletes at the top of the leaderboard. Clearly, at this point, we're not going to give a spot to the games for the Open, but it's something we could think of in the future. I think the way it's working out now is good. If you look at the leaderboard list, it's a who's who of the top guys and top women. So I'm happy with how the Open is playing out. At Stephen Dix 8042, 25.2, this is an example of why many thousands don't register for the Open or will be disappointed by it. Yes, many thousands do register and many thousands do it. But for me, 25.2 is not for the masses. For me, I do not want to scale these tests as you cannot then compare your scores to the elite. Most people enjoyed 25.1 because it was relatively basic movements and the vast majority of CrossFitters can do these movements in the dumbbell weight. 25.2 is the complete opposite. I wonder how many CrossFitters who have paid to enter the Open won't be able to do muscle ups or even double unders. A high percentage will probably have to scale the workout. It's disappointing then as you are not able to compare scores with the elite. Please, can you keep the original but simple Please, can you keep the Open simple but hard? 25.1 is a good example of this. Please keep all the high skill movements, handstand walks, double unders, muscle ups for the next stage. Keep the Open RX for the masses. It's only 3 workouts, and it'll be easy to do this and get the elite through at the same time. Just a thought. I've been CrossFitting since 2011 and I absolutely love the methodology in the sport and enjoy these weekly updates and what you have done for CrossFit. Go Ukraine. That was him. That wasn't me. The Go Ukraine part. So there's a lot to go through here. One thing, it's disappointing then as you are not able to compare scores with the elite. You are able to compare scores with the elite. You're able to compare where you get to in the workout before you are not able to go on any further. And so the interesting thing, you also say keep the high skill movements, handstand walks, double unders, muscle ups for the next stages. Double unders, like I don't care what anyone says, I do not view double unders as a high skill movement. Muscle ups, sure. Handstand walks, for sure. But also, when you look at two things, you are absolutely right about week 1. And it was that way for a reason, for exactly what you stated. Week 2, it's okay, and it's time to start increasing the difficulty of call it the test and the challenge. And there's been years where we have not had muscle ups in, and people have been very disappointed in the programming because we didn't give anyone, or we didn't give clients or people the opportunity to try to get their first muscle up. And I've already been tagged and seen a bunch of videos of people getting their first muscle up, and it's you know, the energy in the gym and the way people celebrate it is incredibly inspiring. The point at where the muscle ups are in the workout is also very deliberately designed towards the end. So meaning as an individual who wants to participate and play, there's a lot you can do. I mean, and here's the other thing too. You can unwind your argument to the point where people are saying you shouldn't have pull-ups and chest-to-bar pull-ups because those are high-skill movements. They're high-skill because there's a number of people who can't do them. So my point is, your argument can be pulled back to a point where we're completely watering everything down. And I think that's dangerous. But to go back to where it's at, so let's just say your argument is bar muscle-ups are high skill, chest-to-bar pull-ups are not, even though some would argue they are, and pull-ups are not. So you could do a lot of work and have a good time, or fight to get a good time prior to ever getting to your muscle-ups. I have a good friend who was a SEAL, same age. He's still a SEAL, actually. And he did the workout, and he said he got to the end and was just staring at the bar for 3 minutes because he doesn't have any bar muscle-ups. He didn't complain about it. He didn't have an issue with it. He just went really hard on the first section, got a tie break time, and then struggled on the last part. And I'll tell you what, he's going to become a better CrossFitter because of this. And again, there are a lot of people who did it and got their first muscle up. But understanding where we put the muscle ups, towards the very end, not in the front. I think the argument of the case for what you're trying to convince me of would be stronger if we had programmed this with the muscle ups in the front. Then I'd be like, yeah, that's probably a little too much. But we put them in a place where it gave people a lot of opportunity to do other work prior to getting there. If you chose to do it RX, or you can do it scaled. And that goes to your first point. For me, I do not want to scale these tests, as you cannot compare your scores to the elite. Most people enjoyed 12. For me, I do not want to scale these tests, as you cannot then compare your scores to the elite. You probably should be doing them scaled. If you don't have some of these movements, if you can't do bar muscle ups, and you view double unders as a complex movement, and I don't know if you didn't state if you do or do not have double unders, but let's say you don't have double unders. You absolutely should be doing this scaled. And I think comparing yourself to the elite is further downstream. Like at this point, I would suggest you become more proficient with the movements, actually pick up some of the skills before worrying about comparing yourself against the elite. And you had a great opportunity, as you stated, in the first workout to do that. So here, view this one as more of a opportunity to, less as an opportunity to compare yourself against the elite, but maybe to tackle a skill that you might not have completely developed yet and overcome that obstacle. So 20, and then I'll say, I looked at the app. Let me pull up the app. I got 7 muscle ups. So 7 muscle ups on this workout. And currently, I'm sitting in the 66th percentile worldwide. Okay, that's better than I thought, actually. Meaning, so let's say 66th percentile worldwide for that workout. there's a good amount of people who did less than 7 and maybe more than one. So what I need to do, and I'll do this after this all closes, I'll figure out how many people registered one muscle up or more in the submissions. And likely, I'm going to guess it's going to be over 50%. I would say then that's if 50% of the people submitted one muscle up or more, it's probably a fair balance of being appropriate and being difficult enough to challenge people. All right, let me move on because this one's gone on for a long time. At Cole S1442, Froning said on his recent podcast that 16.5 was the most disappointing open announcement he's ever been a part of because you all had him, Ben Smith, and Matt Frazier at the ranch, the 3 best lifters in the sport, and it was just thrusters and burpees. Thoughts on that? Also, bigger question, how much goes into who does the open announcements given their strength and workout? So the that workout was programmed, again, just like I mentioned at the beginning of this, months in advance, several months in advance. And because those 3 were going to be the ones doing it, we're not going to program around them or change it, change the entirety of the open that year just so those 3 can put on a show. And B is like, that's the total essence of CrossFit. Who gives a fuck if they're the 3 strongest lifters in CrossFit at the time? The reason they were picked is because they were the 3 best CrossFitters. They were 3 champions. And so we're more interested in seeing a test of fitness than actually just a 1 rep max lift off. And so most disappointing open announcement he's ever been part of, whatever. The intent of that one wasn't to make him happy and excited. The intent was to bring the best out and to put them through the final open workout, which happened to be thrusters and burpees, and I thought it was a great test and a great show. And he might be disappointed because he lost that one to Matt, too. I think that's probably why it was the most disappointing. At Hayden Goodall, good day, TDC. Just wondering if you're planning on going to Torian off the back of the seminar staff hit out in Korea. And again, cheers, mate, on all the signups this year. Thanks. Yeah, I think I might. Actually, I don't want to say I think I might. I'm looking at it. So if I go to the summit in Korea, I also might go out to Torian. So more to follow on that. All right. This was a long one, 23 minutes or close to 23 minutes. 25.3 will happen this week. We'll be out in Albany to announce it. It'll be a nice one to cap off the open season. So see you guys on the leaderboard. Out.